Banks have always wanted security. As less capital has been in businesses, banks have lent less because they can't see how their investment is going to be protected. Nowadays, you can set up a business, can't you, with a laptop and a website. And then a year later, someone nicks your idea and all you've got left is a second-hand laptop. You've borrowed money from the bank. There's nothing there for the bank to get their money out of. So they will come and ask you to personally guarantee it. But there are so few assets now in businesses, you don't necessarily need an awful lot of assets to make a decent profit. The add-on for that is, why would you give money to a founder who doesn't realise how much it's going to invest to start making money? Well, they do know how much they're going to pay themselves to get to that point.
I guess what I see with founders, especially coming through the insolvency desk, is we have a business, it's received initial investment, and what's turned it into an insolvent business is because as much as there is progress with the product, it's the fact that investors are pulling out because they haven't made any money.
That they can't see. Yeah. They can't see the way out. I don't think the founder knows where the way out is either, other than they give them more money.
Yeah, the founder is concentrated on the product still and the development of it, but they cannot guarantee how is this going to make money, how is this going to make sales. I've sat in on a meeting and it's been blatantly obvious, and even admitted that I'm not a salesman. I just developed. The investor was meant to bring the referrals, and it's just like, okay, but when you went into this initial relationship or deal, I'm sure it was discussed who was going to be the buyer, who was going to be the potential consumer of this product. And I just feel at the moment, when founders pitch to investors, especially investors that, as you would say, are making a business to invest, they need more than just, okay, this is the idea and this is the outcome.
I think, that's one point which I was quite shocked about sort of 18 months, 2 years ago, is the amount of people that were paying themselves out of the investment from investors. Amazing how many people got finance, which meant that in the first 2 years of development, they were being paid and there was no income. There was no livelihood of income. So it wasn't surprising that sort of 2 years in, when the money runs out, when they've had 2 years worth of employment, effectively, they don't know where it's going to get. You can see, you have some sympathy with the investors saying, why should I put in any more? When the software developer founder believed that the investor was going to bring the clients to his business, well, if he didn't know who to sell it to, then what was he building? He was building a hobby. Wherever it comes from, it's the bank or its shareholders. The minute you get finance in, you are giving away elements of control of their business, where you have much more sophisticated investors than we did sort of 18 months, 2 years ago. The investors will want something out of it. Founders need to be very clear in their own mind what they're putting in, what is going to come out, and when it's going to happen. Whether it's debt finance, which tends to be less risk, or whether it's shareholder finance, but it's still the case that they're going to have to be clear in their own mind about where the risks are, when the profits might start rolling in, and what they're working towards, and what skill sets they're missing.
The investors that we're seeing now, they are more attuned, they are more aware. There are investors 2 years ago that have only now cut their teeth into that market because of previous failed.
Before this all started, there were less people who were involving themselves in investment than there are now. A number of people have been quite lucky and were quite good at it, and are now sitting there with larger funds than they had 5 years ago. A lot have left the market, which is probably good. It's forcing businesses to be better organised. But I think, that's the point to kind of end on, is that there is still money out there. You have to ask for it in a much more professional way and understand what it is you're doing and what you're asking for, what the investment's going to do, the time frame when the investor's going to start seeing their money back, or when the bank's going to start seeing their money back, and why the investment now is going to make a difference where previous round didn't, or why is this different? Why is this the time to do it?
So if you've liked what you've heard so far, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.